Well, I can reveal the National Security Committee of Cabinet will meet tomorrow in Sydney to discuss ways Australia can assist India as it deals with this horrific COVID-19 situation over there. One of the options on the table, one thing to come under discussion, will also be to bar arrivals from India through hotel quarantine into Australia. We saw Scott Morrison reduce the number of entrants from India last week. Canada has banned all Indian arrivals for 30 days with an announcement last week. The PM said last week that the number of people coming from India testing positive from coronavirus had risen from 10% to 40%.
We have seen the proportion of total cases from that one particular cohort rise from around 10% to 40% of cases. Now, that's not something we could ignore.
With sending medical teams, oxygen and ventilators and the like. Scott Morrison and Australia's High Commissioner to India, Barry O'Farrell, have been talking over the weekend. Laura Jays asked Dan Tehan, the Trade Minister, about providing assistance this morning.
Should we be sending supplies to India? We all know how bad the crisis has got there. We bought thousands of ventilators, I think 7,000 from memory, at the start of the pandemic. We haven't had to use them, thankfully. Is that an area in which Australia could help out India?
Well, all those types of things are under consideration. Obviously, we want to be doing what we can to help and support India during the given that the impact now that we're seeing from COVID-19 in India itself. So all those things are under consideration as to how we can best help India through this current crisis that it's facing, which is obviously has got out of control, and they need the help, all the help and the support they can get, not only from us but from countries around the world.
Obviously, the India situation has been a focus for WA Premier Mark McGowan as well, who was asked why an Australian was allowed to travel to India for his wedding and had come back and reinfected people, and why the states have been put in charge of hotel quarantine. Here is a photo of the nature of accommodation at RAAF Learmonth, a national quarantine facility recommended last year to the federal government by the former top public servant Jane Holton. This photo you'll see shows bunk beds and close quarters, generally unsuitable conditions for quarantine. There's a lot of talk about a continuous pool of 40,000 Australians wanting to return to the country. We have 15,000 citizens and permanent residents leaving Australia each month. Arriving last month, there were 6,260 visitor arrivals and 8,390 resident returns, so just over half being residents. Want to point out a lot of these visitors are flight crew. Now, I've contacted a number of senior federal sources this morning on whether the WA lockdown will be continued by Mark McGowan today. Such is the relationship between the feds and WA at the moment. They couldn't even tell me. We're expecting this announcement at 2:30, but as Tom says, bit of a sign there with Greg Hunt saying no community cases. If I'm having a punt, Tom, I'm saying the lockdown lifts, but restrictions stay in place for some time.